Welcome. I'm Clint Evans of Standout Authority and host of the Hidden Profit Path iTunes show. My special guest today is John Watkins. How you doing, John?
I'm doing well, Clint. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's good to be here. I know you're in a co-working space there. We'll talk about that a little bit later here in our talk. But first, tell me a little bit about your background and how you got into what led you into doing what you do now.
Well, I was actually a soldier stationed in Hawaii, and Hawaii is such a beautiful place. I picked up a camera and, absolutely loved it. And at the same time, I was, missing home a little bit, so it got me a little hoopty, as we call it. And I said, hey, I'm going to do some work on this and restore this thing.
That's a vehicle, correct, for those that don't know the term?
Yeah, they call them
the urban slang.
But, yeah, I got an old Cadillac. And so I said, hey, I'm from Detroit. I'm going to fix this Cadillac up and tool it around the island. And being in the military, you don't make much money. So I said, hey, I got to get me a little side something going to get some money to work on this thing. And I said, well, I got this camera. I do pretty good at this. And I actually reached out to a promoter who did a lot of shows in the area. I said, hey, why don't you let me set it up, take some pictures over here? He said, sure. Yeah, but you got to take pictures of the show for me. So my actual first gig as an entrepreneur was working for, it's called Capone's Productions, and I worked the Kevin Hart, I think it was All-Star Comedy Jam or something. So I kind of got thrust into it. I didn't know what I was getting myself into.
Well, Capone Productions, there's probably no reservation. You're like, yeah, let's jump in head first on this.
Exactly. And from there, he asked me to come back a couple times. A couple people saw me working there, so, before I knew it, people were saying, "Hey, we got this military ball coming up. Can you come do photos for us? Hey, I need some family pictures. You think you could do it for us?" And, it went from I thought I was going to be doing concert photography, set up a backdrop, click, print, and shoot, to now I'm all around the island doing all type of different photography work, and it kind of just exponentially spiraled and everything else. Every time I needed a website, so. All right, how do you build a website? I need a logo. Okay, how do you make a logo? I need to make this legal. How do I do my taxes? Okay, I got to market. How to market? So I just organically kind of grew, and where I learned business, firsthand, the hard way. I bootstrapped it out of my pocket, and came to a point where I found that I was helping other people with my knowledge, and I said, well, that's a real career. Maybe I can be, a business coach, and that's where I am now.
Yeah, and I like a couple points you said before we started our broadcast here, that you kind of fell into that, and that seemed to work out really well for you and grow. And then, especially in the beginning, being a little jack of all trades, if you didn't know something, scoured the web, invested the hours to figure it out, because at that point you didn't have the funds to pay somebody else. So
definitely, and that was part of me, getting into the coaching and consulting aspect of it, was that I didn't have anyone that I could call. I had a quick question, and if I had had a me back then, I would have saved myself a lot of hours and a lot of pain.
Yeah.
I try to be, that informational source, and all the failures that I have are lessons learned, and turn those lessons that I learned into value for other people.
Yeah, talk a little bit about, we mentioned co-working and those co-location office spaces. Talk a little bit about how you like doing that and how that works for your business.
Well, initially, once I start growing and I was making a little bit of money, I said, well, let me get an office. And I start looking at leases. I start looking at all those spaces. And in Hawaii, real estate is just ridiculous. So
I never would have guessed that.
No, it's
real cheap there, isn't it?
Oh man, some things are really, really cheap. The beach is
only free. Like $200 a square foot.
Oh man, they were about $55 a square foot. But for a photo studio, really do anything, I needed over 1,000 square. Just no way. There was just no way I was going to do that.
Your business starting out couldn't handle $50,000 a month in rent?
No, not at all, not at all. And I was actually part of like I said, I became and I got, I had this business, so I actually enrolled in college courses. So I was part of an entrepreneurial program. And one of my classmates had started a co-working space, and it was brand new. He had just popped it up, and I said, well, okay, hey, I joined this, but would it be okay if I shoot photos out of here sometimes? I didn't know what co-working was. I just know he said if I gave him $50 a month, I could work here whenever I wanted to.
Oh,
So I was
nice.
like, cha-ching. So, I spent
$50 or 50,000.
right. And man, co-working I think has been one of the two biggest influences on kind of my entrepreneurial journey because there's co-working spaces all over the United States. So a lot of times when I travel, I'll find a co-working space and kind of dig into that community while I'm there. And it's just full of creative people, creatives, innovators, designers, artists. I mean, just anybody that thinks for a living. I mean, co-working is where thinkers are. And it's great to be in a space where other people, you're collaborating, you're learning, the whole thing is about positivity and growth. So co-working is something I do. And even here now, small little space, and it's kind of a coffee shop kind of co-working. Come here every day, and just hang out, do my work. I'm not sitting at home at my desk alone, making an excuse to get up and check my DVR.
Right.
Get out, come hang out, do some work. No stress. I'm not in the office alone by myself, so
Yeah,
it's just
that's an interesting point too. How you can meet other creatives and business owners and have a little built-in network right there as a benefit that most people probably don't consider co-working. The main thing they're seeing is less rent.
right. And the motto actually, motto the co-working space that I initially was a part of was work the way you live. And so, you don't work alone, you don't live alone in a cubicle by yourself. You know what I mean? So why do you want to work like that? And,
Very nice. Well, let's move into a little bit, John, talking about the type of clients and business people that you focus on helping.
uh, right now, predominantly, I'm helping, startup entrepreneurs or business professionals. And so what I love to do is, find somebody who has a passion, is passionate about something, but knows nothing about business. And being able to kind of get them to turn their passion into profit, walk them through all those steps. Let's get your business model together. We'll shelve the business plan for when we grow, but let's figure out, how many different ways we're going to make money and how we're going to strategically, you know, grow. And on the professional side, I'm a Six Sigma professional. So I work with, established businesses on how to improve their processes. So maybe they have a process in place and it takes 27 steps to complete that process. So we'll work to save them time and money by turning that 27-step process into 7 steps.
Oh, very
And
nice.
so,
Let's get in.
go
Yeah,
ahead.
let's get into our final topic for the day, where you're working with some of these startup entrepreneurs. There's probably some ignorance, some things they don't know that your experience can bring to the table. What are some of the business growth areas that they neglect, or tasks they do that take them off track, that really aren't part of that main core activities that lead to profits?
Well, what I often see is there's a lack of integration. And so in business, there's a personal brand that's always there, no matter what. No matter if, whatever business you open, your personal brand is always going to be there. And then you have a business, and it may be brick and mortar. You may co-work like I do, or it may be an online business. But all these things have to exist seamlessly together. And so personal brand, business brand, and your online presence, they all have to exist seamlessly. And content is king. And now when someone comes to you and they talks about a business, the first thing we do is Google them. So you can have a beautiful store and you go and, they go to look at your website and the link doesn't work. Or, you have a beautiful store, you have a beautiful online website, but they find you on social media and it's full of, God knows what.
Right.
So, it's about making sure that all of those things line up and that you really take time to be, I guess the words that everyone likes to use nowadays is, an educator and advocate for your customers. And you have to realize that your business isn't about you. Your business is about helping customers solve a problem. And that's why they come to you and that's why they spend their money. And what I really try to do and what I really enjoy doing is to help people put processes into place so that they're working on that personal brand, that business brand, and that online presence at one time seamlessly together, and it's not work. That it's actually fun, and that they find some enjoyment in their business. You don't have to be busy, or it doesn't have to be tedious. What you do for a living can be enjoyable.
Yeah, I'm hearing the congruency and those pieces of the puzzle where they all fit together to make that beautiful whole in a business brand that works.
Definitely.
All right, John, thanks for being with me here today, and we'll see you next time.
All right, thanks a lot, Clint. Thanks for having me. Later.
Yeah, bye.